Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Richmond Review. We are live in the studio today with Mike Brewer, Lori Tatum, and Jason Morgan. It is a fun cast of characters, as always, and we're not going to make fun of Mike for being late, even though he might deserve it, but
Yes.
we won't get on to you much today. Listen, I first want to get in with Lori about the LA Classic. I mean, that was something that I'm a big sports guy, so it was cool to be a part of that and to look back on how good it was for the city of Richmond. Just kind of give us an update on how things went and I guess the process of kind of the wrap up of the LA Classic.
Sure. We were thrilled this year to find out that we had sold 41,000 tickets.
Wow.
We've not seen those types of numbers since 2007. So the LA was extremely thrilled. Of course, we can't take all the credit. We're going to give Frankfurt a lot of credit for that. It all depends on which teams win, but just a wonderful impact to our community. These guys, of course, know that our hotels and our restaurants, a lot of us tell us that's what gets them through the winter. Having that economic boom in the dead of winter, there's not a lot going on at the end of January.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful thing for our community. EKU does a economic impact study, and they estimate around $2 million of economic impact.
Wow. That's pretty good for the city commissioner. I mean, for you guys, got to be proud of that as well, right?
Well, I'd like to stand up and say I take credit for it, but it's all about Lori.
Well, I'm sure you doing the dunk contest and Ed and his cheerleading outfit. I'm sure that helped get the crowd down there.
Jason and I guarded each other mid-court.
A little 2-on-2 game with the city commissioners. I can see that, being some big bucks spent there to watch that.
And I told Lori, I said, and I've been to many of them, I said, I knew this one was different. I saw the crowd. And I knew the numbers were going to be up, and Jason and I were there quite often, not to lend any help, but just support.
we probably, in cash contributions to the LA Classic, probably spend around $30,000.
Yeah.
We hope, although it's reported a $2 million economic impact within that 5-day period, we hope the long-term investment is we attract students to the university.
Yeah.
And 1,000 students coming on campus spending $100 a week in our local economy. That's out $100,000 a week to local businesses, going to the McDonald's, the Apollos, pizza, spending money at our how many boutiques that we have in Richmond now?
We have over 25, and I always tell the story that Soft Shoe years ago said the LA Classic is one of our best weeks. I said, really? And I said, it is.
Wow.
It never failed that we would have like a terrible snowstorm or something would happen and everybody would go and buy shoes. But it's great for those local businesses for sure.
It's an instant surge of cash in our economy. But hopefully, if Easter can retain those students to come back to college, it's a more sustained cash flow to our economy as well.
Well, talk about some of the big names that were in town. I know, the governor was there. There were a lot of big names that made the trip down here, whether it was watching one game or multiple games or the championship. A lot of big names were in town for the tournament. So just to kind of talk about that and kind of how Richmond was able to showcase itself to even some bigger people.
I think this was my 19th LA Classic.
Wow,
and
you're a veteran by now, right?
Well, I started the city when I was 12.
Okay.
But I don't recall a governor ever attending the LA Classic. And I asked some of the other board members, and they did not recall that. And I think it was such an honor to be able to have the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor come and see those. I know in years past, I think Tubby Smith had come down to do some recruiting.
Yeah.
So we've seen folks come down, but it had been a little while since we'd had those types of folks here. And I think it gave the mayor an opportunity to, when he was there talking with Lieutenant Governor, just, this is Richmond. I hope you enjoy your time here. We may be
kind of rub shoulders there, right?
Well, we may be coming to ask you for some assistance here and there. But no, it was wonderful. And I appreciate these two guys, too. They are there every day. And I know that anything I need, they do it. Jason grabbed a vacuum cleaner one night to help us clean up. But they're wonderful partners in the LA, and they're great friends to tourism for sure.
So I know this year with the first year Stan not being there, it seemed like it was an emotional time, but it was a good way to honor him. And it seemed like everything still kind of flowed the way that Stan would have wanted it to flow.
Definitely. We had said before the tournament started that we wanted to pack the stands for Stan. We really wanted to make an impact for him, and his family came on Sunday, and I think they were so honored to see that many people in those many numbers, and I think it was maybe some of Sam's family is thinking about actually joining the All-A board.
Oh, wow,
To
okay.
keep that legacy alive. And a lot of people don't know the All-A Classic is, basketball in January, but we have golf, we have volleyball in September, we have the scholarship competition in November. So we like to be known as the All-A City for sure. There's softball and baseball and soccer that are in other communities, but we'd like to think about bringing them here if we could.
Well, I know that the website, the All-A Classic website, I mean, it's got everything you'd want. The history of it, the other sports that are involved. It's a pretty cool website to see all the information that goes into there. But again, talking about the impact it had on the community, it's do we know for sure as far as the contract goes as to how long it's going to continue being in Richmond, or?
Yes, we have another 3-year contract
Okay.
that these folks signed, I believe,
Yes,
last year. And then I don't foresee it moving.
Yeah.
I kid, but there's a lot of things that maybe our previous governor people didn't love, but I love the fact that he tore down the convention center.
Yeah.
I think the All-A left, it's probably a little bit of the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. They left town, and they didn't realize how good they had it here in Richmond.
Yeah.
So they come back, and I think that they have fallen in love all over again with the city of Richmond. And we give thanks to people like Lori and the volunteers. I think I counted 40 volunteers
40.
that we need to send a thank you note to that are involved in this community event that makes our community at the end of the day better.
Yeah, and I think people don't realize how much work and effort and time goes into that, and those people volunteering their time and effort and everything makes the tournament just flow even more smoothly.
15-hour days?
Sometimes a little bit longer, but
10-hour days?
18.
18.
Oh, man, 18,
Yeah.
18-hour days.
You get there at 7 and you don't leave probably till 11.
Okay.
But I said it is the one week out of the year that it's a wonderful town and gown relationship. EKU and Richmond are one big family that week. And we have volunteers that I don't have to call them; they call me.
Okay,
And
well, that's
say,
awesome.
hey, I want to be there. I want to volunteer, and they enjoy it. They love it, and it's just a wonderful event for the entire community.
Well, it's been it was a fun tournament. I know the 2 championship games were a lot of fun, and I know we had Berea kind of give it a little local feel as well. So I think it's cool to see all the stuff that goes into it. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, Lori's here to discuss some of the tourism stuff that's going on, so we'll get into that with her. We are live in studio today, another episode of the Richmond Review on WBONTV.com. Marissa, WBON TV has teamed up with the City Commissioners of Richmond to start what we are going to be calling Richmond Review.
That's right, Michael. You guys stay tuned for twice a month right here at WBON TV Studios. We'll have all the commissioners right here to talk some hot topics from around Richmond.
We are starting this program known as Richmond Review to help inform the citizens about what's going on around Richmond.
The purpose of the show is to help the citizens stay up to date on new projects, upcoming events, new legislation, and other things going on in our city.
The show airs live on WBON twice a month on Thursdays at 12 o'clock, and we welcome feedback from the citizens of Richmond, along with questions related to the topics we will discuss during the show.
Along with the Richmond Review Show, all of us welcome you to our City Commission meetings during the month as well. Just download the My Richmond app to stay up to date. Thank you.
Make sure to like WBON TV on Facebook to see the live show.
For WBON TV, I'm Marissa Hempel.
And I'm Michael Watkins. Watch the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live each Monday from 6 to 7 on WBONTV.com.
That's right, Michael. You can hang out with us each week either at Jack Burford Chevrolet or at Buffalo Wild Wings in the Richmond Center. You can take part in the Law Office of Patrick O'Neill Facebook poll and share your thoughts and opinions with us each week, and we can talk about all your local sports.
Samantha, the numbers don't lie. We love showcasing the local athletes and coaches in our community and appreciate all of our great sponsors. For the best local sports coverage around, join us each Monday on WBON TV for the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. We are back on the Richmond Review. First of all, don't you think the show flows a lot better with Marissa not in the house with us? She's watching right now. That's why I said that. Got to aggravate her a little bit because she's not in here to kind of go back with me. But
Say, how you doing? How you doing?
Well, so we're talking about the tourism and everything going on with it. Got some updates. You guys want to jump in and kind of give us some updates on what's going on with tourism?
Well, I think first of all, we are well aware that for a community to really shine and prosper, that tourism has to be in the forefront. And what we're fortunate to have in our community is, and I'm not just saying this for her, but she has so much experience in this field, and I hate to call it a field because you have to, it's just a knack, and she's always had it. And she promotes our city, and tourism is a high priority, I know, on Jason and ours list. And Ed, I talked to him about it. He's in Texas right now at a school, so. But
Are you sure he's not like working on his tan, eating some good barbecue? You know, it could be the case with that too.
But we want to show that what better way to promote Richmond is through tourism.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Lori, I know there's a lot of ways to do that, you know, and social media has kind of allowed us to kind of promote ourselves better,
Right.
and I think that's kind of what the city of Richmond has done with a lot of the videos and stuff that you all make. So just talk about some of the updates that you all are working on and some of the events that are coming up in the future.
We've just recently been at a conference in Frankfurt, and we had a lot of great speakers. And one of the speakers there really made a comment that resonated with me, that tourism is the front porch of economic development. And that's something that we have really tried to do in the past year, is form a great relationship with David Stipes, our industrial development director. We're helping him when we have new industry come into town, because we talk about not only does your tourist have to visit, but if somebody's thinking about opening a factory, opening up a retail store, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to visit our community. And what we're going to be focusing on is telling our story. And, you know, who knows our story better than us? And if we don't tell it, somebody else is going to. And I think that's the unique thing about Richmond is Kentucky's story begins with us. If you think about 1775 and Daniel Boone and the beginnings of Kentucky, they're right here in Richmond.
Sorry, what's Mr. Shannon say about Daniel, the importance of Daniel Boone?
Yes, Jimmy Shannon, one of my favorite attorneys, he will tell the story that if the siege of Fort Boonesborough had gone a different way, that America really could be part of Canada.
Oh, wow.
That rallying of the troops and getting folks, I guess,
Yep.
you know, that we're going to be okay. And, you know, he said you really have to think about that. And, you know, that really could have happened at that moment.
We're the only community, only county west of the Alleghenies that has both a Revolutionary War battle, the siege of Boonesborough, and a Civil War battle on within our county limits.
Okay.
Only.
Wow. Well, so talk about, maybe is there a place that people could go, maybe your average citizen who don't know about the history, you know, or maybe if it's an EKU student who wants to learn more about the city, not maybe just the university, is there a place they could go to get that information, website, Facebook page? Or
Definitely on our website, which is visit richmondky.com. But we encourage everybody to come to our office. We moved there 2 years ago, and it is the former home of Cassius Clay's son, Brutus Clay.
Okay.
But we have a wonderful library of Richmond history, and we have genealogy information. And if I'm there, I can, you know, talk to you for days about Richmond history. I always tell everybody I'm your phone a friend if you're ever on a game show. But it's a great place to start. And I tell this story all the time. When I started at tourism at the age of 12, I can remember calling my friends and saying, we had a real tourist come in the door today. They're like, no way.
Yeah.
Because I grew up here my whole life, and you don't think of your town in that way. And, you know, people don't realize how many folks are in and out of our door. We have over 10,000 people a year that are in and out of the visitor center that are coming to visit Richmond. I'll I'll quiz you.
Okay.
Where are most of those people from? What state?
What state are they from? I'm gonna say Ohio.
Okay,
Is that a good guess?
kinda.
Michigan.
Very good, Michigan.
Oh wow. Okay.
But-
Really?
And why?
Because of the Great Depression, they went up north
Then they came
and
back.
came
Okay.
back.
But part of that is we're the halfway point between Michigan and Florida. So
Yeah.
all those snowbirds are coming, and that is the bulk of the people that are coming in our door are people traveling south.
Yeah. Well, talk about maybe, I know, again, with social media, it's easier
Sure.
to push that access out there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I see it everywhere. And it's a good way to keep up with events that are going on in the community, like the downtown Halloween event, the 4th of July event that goes on at Lake
Millstone.
Reba. Yeah, Millstone with the festival coming up. So where can people go as far as just seeing a Facebook post? Talk about the Facebook and the Twitter and everything else that we
Sure.
have.
One of your partners, Samantha Burford, who is on our board, she is kind of our face of Richmond tourism. And
We got to get a better face for that, by the way. I've talked to Samantha all morning, and I like to give her a hard time too, by the way.
Yeah.
She is fabulous to us, and we make sure to promote every event that we can think of. Our YouTube channel was actually listed in the top 30 of YouTube channels in Kentucky.
Wow. Okay.
That's definitely a good place to always look. We have our own tourism app that people can download on their phone that'll give you all the events that are going on. And then, of course, our website, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a new intern that's starting, that's doing some Instagram posts for us. We've been trying to focus on those local places that make Richmond unique.
When we talk about tourism, what we need to realize tourism is economic development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's economic development, not just for the city of Richmond, it's for the entire county, Berea included. And Mike and I, we often say, how can we partner with our other community partners, the county and the Berea? And I think it's with, and Lori, tell me if I'm wrong, please. I think it's with tourism. We can partner. We can be the best adventure tourism county in the state of Kentucky with the river, the pinnacles,
Yeah.
all the open land, battlefields. I think that
The
if we could
parks
just
and-
if we could just find a way to partner with our community partners.
Is there a way that maybe just your average, not even your business owner, just your average citizen who works at a Walmart or works at a Kroger that they can help with tourism? Is there a way that they can get involved to just help out, whether it be to help promote or whatever the case may be?
We would love that. Anytime that somebody wants to volunteer in our office, that would be great. And also to be a tourism ambassador. When you see something going on, if you see a video on social media, share that post and say, be sure and come and visit us. One of the things that Jason just mentioned about adventure tourism, Deer Run Stables is a great asset in our community. And we talked about Lexington is the horse capital of the world. But you can't actually get on that horse and touch it. You can go to the horse farm, you can look, you can see, but you can come right across the river and actually get on a horse and touch it and feel it and ride it. And that's huge.
Well, that's all. I didn't even know that. So.
If I could provide some consulting advice to some of our partners, and Mike and you and I, in the way we've talked about it, if there are some entities out there having budget issues, I think they need to look at the resources they have, and that is the natural resources and tourism to help them attract a vibrant economy that could possibly pay for a jail.
Okay.
And I want, I hadn't mentioned briefly about a night with the commission.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is promote that. I want to talk about, like having people do folk art or music or, menus of food that's been known for here. I just want people to be able to come together and understand that through our tourism, we prosper.
Yeah.
And getting together and to meet the members of this commission, which Jason and I and Jacob and Ed, we are, and we want to introduce Richmond to them to make them understand that we are a group of people that promote Richmond and that we are on top of the issues and we want to make a better town.
Yeah, Lisa says Richmond rocks.
Yeah.
Well, right now, with 1,500 new buildings
Yes.
in our community in 2019, that averages out to 3.5 a day.
Oh, wow.
New buildings, 425 new businesses, $40 million investments in our industrial park. Richmond rocks, but Richmond is also on fire. Right?
Yeah.
This is the place. We're talking about investments at the Glendon. We're talking about a new Millstone Festival. We have
La Rosa's coming.
La Rosa's and First Watch. And
Yeah.
you're in Frankfurt today lobbying with the film company, with the film industry.
Yes.
She was trying to get the film industry with Representative Frazier to be interested in our community. And we are.
Talk about maybe shooting movies here? Or,
Well,
or-
there are some film incentives that the
Okay.
state of Kentucky has, but learning how we can access those. We have the Grant Wilson with Ghost Hunters. He actually lives here.
Yeah.
There's the History Alive series that's been shot at Whitehall. But we've got a lot of great stories to tell that I think the film industry would be interested in.
And that's what we want to do. We want to tell the story of Richmond, period.
Because
'Cause once you
drop
hear
the mic,
it-
right there, Mike.
Once you hear it, you'll want to stay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen. I mean, we talked about it. Marissa
Yeah.
came from Cincinnati. I've came from Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
We've kind of, I guess, anchored down here in Richmond. But again, I think it just goes to show you the city itself. I mean, it welcomes people in. I mean, there's a lot of students that I know that came from, Lexington or Northern Kentucky, Western Kentucky. They went to EKU and they found a home here. They made a home in Richmond. I think that just goes to show you what the city can do for literally anybody. No matter where you're
Yeah.
from, they can make you feel at home, and there's something here for everybody.
Sure, Jason and I kid that it doesn't cost anything to be nice.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I will compliment our Southern hospitality. We had a couple from the north that were doing genealogy. They were trying to find things out. People at EKU's library helped them. They ended up going to a small family cemetery, and someone had to help them find it. And a young kid on an ATV said, "Well, here, I'll show you." And they came by my office later and said, "We didn't know that still existed. That's not something that we had."
You had Joe Bentley giving
Yeah.
an antique milk jug or
Yes.
something that
Yes.
a couple from Ohio was
Yes.
on a search for a particular milk jug, and Joe Bentley said, "Here, I got one. Give me 10 minutes. Let me go home," and came back and said,
Yeah.
"Here, you can have it."
Wow.
And that's how we attract new businesses.
Yeah.
That's how we grow as a community. And as long as we don't lose that touch, what's stopping us from being the best city out there? What honestly,
Yeah.
what is stopping us?
Well, we are the greatest. I'll just say it.
Now,
Richmond's the
Yeah,
greatest.
and I think that's kind of where we can kind of help too.
Yeah.
We can kind of help showcase the
Yeah.
city, whether it be with what we're doing with the TV station that's coming up, or whatever the case may be. It's just a good chance to showcase the city of Richmond for those people that may live here and don't even know about it. I mean, that's
Right.
that's a big thing that we can help do, and I think people need to know about it, and that's why we have this show to kind of help showcase the city, showcase the people that make Richmond what it is. So.
and none of us want to sit here and say that we don't have our issues.
Yeah.
We have issues. We're at a very, very tense, as one reporter called it, commission meeting this past Tuesday, trying to get a traffic light on the bypass.
No, listen. I've lived there. I would love to see that.
I mean, it was a very tense
yeah.
meeting.
Well, there are
there.
people that came. I know, like I had a basketball game that night, but there were a lot of people that were in our Facebook page for our neighborhood trying to convince people to go and support
Yeah.
this.
They're wanting to spend $5 million when $120,000 will do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Why spend $5 million when $120,000 traffic light?
Yeah.
And it did get kind of heated. It's been a while since we've had one of those.
One of those, and what was really beautiful about it, if what was really the positive out of that was, if you were from Richmond, you were on one side,
Yeah.
and you had these engineers and bureaucrats from the state that they could not penetrate our argument.
Yeah.
They had no words for our comebacks.
So what was the outcome of that? Do we know?
They're going to quote study more.
Yeah.
But we,
Okay.
fortunately for us, we have some developers that are willing to provide their own traffic study, and they're going to come back with a valid argument to say that a $120,000 traffic light is safer than your $6 million fancy U-turn.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know whenever we had this process started, a year or so ago,
That's
maybe
been
longer than that. I mean,
3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I've lived there
yeah.
since 2016, and I feel like
Yeah.
that since then there's been the complaints, and I think more along the.
It's a traffic light on the bypass next to the Honda dealership, just to.
Yeah,
just to
exactly.
help
Right there at Great House Drive is where
Yeah.
the drive that people are, I guess, the safety concerns of it, because there have been a ton of wrecks right there where Miller Tires is at,
yeah.
and Madison County Ford, all those businesses are right there together. So I think it's a good way for that to protect the people that live in that neighborhood. But now you're getting apartments across the road, and you've got businesses, Fitzpatrick's Furniture, and all those people are on the left side of the road. If you're going, maybe going
That's
toward
correct,
the
yes.
Lexington exit. You got the car lots on the right side with all these other neighborhoods over there. It is a very busy intersection, and I mean, again, I don't know what the cost of it is. I know, but it's been a very big issue over the last, as you said, 3 years. So trying to get that fixed, and the concerns, again, the safety and the traffic and all that stuff, it's been a very big issue for 3 or 4 years now.
But it's not just. I mean, that's an important matter. A very important matter. But we also have matters that Mike and I have talked about. We're a community of 33,000, 34,000 probably at the next census. 16, add another 16,000 when you talk about Eastern students, so 50,000 individuals living in our community. And Mike and I have talked about, and it's appropriate for this month, we have no memorial for Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
So that's another issue. We're great in a lot of ways, but we got a lot of work to do too. And Mike and I, along with Jacob and Ed, have requested that the city administration put forth a resolution that we can vote on, directing the Human Rights Commission to come up with recommendations on how we can appropriately memorialize Martin Luther King Jr.
See, we don't want to just necessarily name a road.
Yeah.
We want it to be something
Special.
more special than just naming a highway. I don't know how to explain it, but our community needs this.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that it's something that can never be,
right.
never be overstated or whatever the case may be, as far as that stuff goes, and honoring somebody that had
Yeah.
a impact
vision.
on, not only where he was from, but all over the world. So that's something that I think, as you said, needs to be done. And I think that's one thing that you guys need credit for, and the commission itself, is you all, whether it be the smallest detailed thing or the biggest issue in the city, you all give it your full attention. I think that's one thing that you all need commended on.
Thank you. A comment that Mike and I will talk about is, Mike, I've shaked your hands before, and I noticed you got calluses on them. And he says, I do. I said, I do too. I have calluses on my hands. We like to get our hands dirty.
And work.
We want to be in the thick of things.
Yeah.
And when we feel like that we're not, we're probably going to get a little edgy and a little aggressive, and we're going to bulldog our way to make sure that our hands are dirty and our knuckles are bloody. We want to be in the thick of things. That's why we asked to be your commissioner.
Well, I think that's why this commission has been so successful too, because you all have different backgrounds, but you all have come together, and it may not always be agreeing with each other, but you come to a solution. I think that's been one of the most impressive things that I've seen in talking to you guys. And Lori, you've seen it firsthand, that and dealing with all
She's
these
actually
guys.
calmed us down a few times.
Oh, I believe that.
Lori, if we're getting a little edgy and a little aggressive, we'll go to Lori and say, Lori, how do we want to say this?
I actually call her quite often.
Yes. I put it through the Southern hospitality filter, and it comes out just fine.
She does. She is our filter, and she has taught us in a lot of ways on how to be better communicators.
Yeah.
But before we go off the air, is there anything else that you all want to promote, talk about? I know the commission meetings are still going on. When is the next one? People can come out to that.
It'll be Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
And do we know what the docket says on that one? Or
We probably won't get everything on it till Friday.
Correct. Yeah.
And but we do hope to bring up the fact about the Martin Luther King resolution in that meeting.
We also have the senior citizens as a chili
Yeah, today.
supper.
Was that today or tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, I believe. Is it tomorrow? Today?
Yes, their purse auction
And the purse auction.
Yeah.
And then the 28th, they have a hat contest
okay.
to benefit the senior citizens.
Which will be fun.
Where can people go to get that to get more information about that, or is
It's actually on
on
the
the
tourism
website? Okay, yeah.
website.
Again, so check out the website once again with the Richmond Tourism and the Facebook page and the Twitter and Instagram, and that's what we want to get the information out there for people to. But you have to use it though. It's there for you to use. You can't complain and say, "Well, I didn't know about it." Well, you have to take
Right.
2 minutes out of your time, and whether it's before you
And
go to
then,
bed or whatever, and check out the Facebook,
It's
Twitter.
the rest of Burger Week is this week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kudos.
What's the next burger?
I believe it's vintage 18. I think
Okay.
it's today. But kudos to you guys for showing it every day.
Yeah, Samantha's
You're
been
doing
trying them all.
Yeah, you've been doing a great job.
So I've been on a little bit of a diet, not a good diet, but a little bit of a diet. So I've tried not to indulge in all the burgers. But I know Samantha's been going around and testing them all out and getting a good idea as to how they've worked
What's her
out. So
What's her feedback?
she likes it.
So,
Yeah.
really good restaurants, local
Oh
restaurants.
yeah, and that was one thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What's your restaurant in Richmond has been around the longest? Is it Madison Gardens?
Madison Gardens, I believe, yes.
Okay. So.
Well, or the Stockyards restaurant.
Yeah,
but-
the
Okay, yeah, there's
Stockyard.
been some different
Yeah.
ownership there, but I know Gill. I mean, a lot of local restaurants. You got the Burger, you got Gillum's. I mean, that's
Yeah.
one.
The
and-
Tea Emporium. I mean, they
Yeah.
don't just
Oh,
sell
yeah.
sell tea. They,
Yeah.
they
they're,
have
they're actually
sandwiches.
they're featured on Burger Week.
Yeah.
They're
Four
doing a
Sisters,
burger.
is that-
Four
yeah.
Four
Sisters
Sisters.
on Saturday, and Sidelines is tomorrow.
Okay. Cooper's
Coopers.
now.
Coopers,
now.
Coopers,
Yeah,
that's right,
yeah.
Coopers.
Well, listen, we appreciate you all hanging out with us. And again, for more information, give us the
Yeah.
website and the Facebook page one more time.
Richmond, or visit richmondky.com, and then our Facebook page is Visit Richmond as well.
Yeah, and if you watched the sports show with me and Samantha, you might see a recognizable face on some of those videos with Samantha. Comment on it and say that Michael is your favorite. She'll like that. Well, thank you all for hanging out with us
Thank
today,
you.
and
Thank you.
we will
Thanks,
see
Lloyd.
you next month on another episode of the Richmond Review. I'm Michael Watkins with WBONTV.com.
Marissa, WBON TV has teamed up with the City Commissioners of Richmond to start what we are going to be calling Richmond Review.
That's right, Michael. You guys stay tuned for twice a month right here at WBON TV Studios. We'll have all the commissioners right here to talk some hot topics from around Richmond.
We are starting this program known as Richmond Review to help inform the citizens about what's going on around Richmond.
The purpose of the show is to help the citizens stay up to date on new projects, upcoming events, new legislation, and other things going on in our city.
The show will air live on WBON twice a month on Thursdays at 12 o'clock, and we welcome feedback from the citizens of Richmond, along with questions related to the topics we will discuss during the show.
Along with the Richmond Review Show, all of us welcome you to our City Commission meetings during the month as well. Just download the My Richmond app to stay up to date. Thank you.
Make sure to like WBON TV on Facebook to see the live show.
For WBON TV, I'm Marissa Hempel.
And I'm Michael Watkins. Watch the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live each Monday from 6 to 7 on WBONTV.com.
That's right, Michael. You can hang out with us each week either at Jack Burford Chevrolet or at Buffalo Wild Wings in the Richmond Center. You can take part in the law office of Patrick O'Neill Facebook poll and share your thoughts and opinions with us each week, and we can talk about all your local sports.
Samantha, the numbers don't lie. We love showcasing the local athletes and coaches in our community and appreciate all of our great sponsors. For the best local sports coverage around, join us each Monday on WBON TV for the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.